Hey YouTube, 3D Printed Life here with a bit of a different video today. I can't really edit because I have my laptop home with no video editing software, so I'm going to try to do this all in one take. This is attempt number 1. If you are watching this, that means I'm awesome. So let's get right into it. Basically, this is just going to be a random update, oh hi dogs, of the Eclips3D2 beta progress. Now all these boxes, this is all, well, some of that stuff, but this is all for the beta. There's a ton of stuff that goes into it. So I figured you guys would probably be interested in seeing it, along with seeing my dog's tail. Thank you. So yeah, let's get into it. So here's the big bin. This is all the heavy stuff. We have linear steppers. This is just all packaging cardboard for going around these guys to protect them in shipping. We've got all the heated beds in here with the heater pad pre-applied, and then the build tack is just in there too. That's not applied because that takes too long and I don't have the patience to do that. We've got linear rods for the Z-axis. We have the hew-in rails and bearings in there. This is mostly just spare stuff. I have a ton more spare stuff back at school, but I am home right now in case you guys didn't know. So after the Eclips3D2 beta is done, all the production stuff is going to be happening here. Basically, all I'm going to do at school is assemble sub-kits, and the sub-kits are these two boxes. So I mean, here we've got a few 3D printed parts, still working on some of those. LEDs, wiring down there. But the majority of stuff in these boxes is just these not that. Bags like this, which is just sub-kits that are going to be going into the 3D printer kit. Here we've got like all the wiring, cable management, stuff like that, electronics. Yeah, so right now they're just in Ziploc bags. That's just for the beta because I'm constantly updating the BOM. Stuff like that. Stuff is going in and out of the bags and getting moved around. But for the full kits, I'm going to be doing the more professional, like sealed bags, like I did for the Eclipse 3D. So these heat sealed bags, which look much nicer. But again, just for the beta, I'm going to be doing that. I've got all the E3D stuff here. I've got 10 E3D V6 hot ends and 10 E3D Titan extruders. Two best things in the world right here. I would highly recommend both of those to anybody looking for an extruder or hot end. Both have just worked fantastically. I've had the E3D V6 for like 2.5 years now. Never had an issue with it. Well, actually, I should say I had an issue with it at first, but that's for another time. I fixed it, never an issue since then. Here I've got all of the extrusions. So we have all the vertical extrusions here. They come pre-packaged in these nice little bundles of 4, so it's like a little circle. So it makes it really easy for me. I basically just throw one of these into each kit. And then we have the black anodized extrusions for the horizontal bits. There's only 2 different extrusions in the printer, and that is very important because it makes it look better. In here we have machined parts in those too, but I have them out, so don't worry. Bubble wrap boxes. The size I ended up going with, I can't pull these out right now. Again, if this wasn't one take, I could, but, you know. It is 16 by 16 by 6 inches, so fairly big X and Y dimensions, but it's not really that tall. However, I did do like a test box at school just to make sure and everything will fit with plenty of room to spare. For later boxes, I may even go smaller than this, probably 16 by 16 by 5 inches tall. But this is what I have for now, and it will work. Really no issues with that. So that's all that stuff. I got LEDs, I already mentioned that, PTFE tubing. Wiring is all pretty much done. We have all of the acrylic panels here, so these do come with a protective coating on it, which is a bit of a pain to get off, so I'm going to leave that to you guys to do. But also it's to protect it while I'm shipping it to you guys, obviously. But basically from what I talked to the guys who made this, they said is basically if you just use some masking tape, you can like run it along an edge, press it down firmly, and then if you peel it up, it should peel up the entire sheet. And then you just carefully work your way across and you should be good. When I first did this, I was like just tearing shreds and it took me like 20 minutes to do 4 panels. But whatever, you guys will figure it out, you're smart. Now let's get on to the machine stuff. Now this is the fun stuff. As you can see, the machine parts came in. Huge shout out to PartsBadger. They hooked me up with a bit of a discount in exchange for my advertising services. But I mean, they are really an amazing machining service. They offer some very, very competitive prices, especially for one-off products, and especially if you want to get your one-off product finished. Normally, if you go through something like eMachine Shop, sorry for this rant, if you want to get something just black anodized, so just black anodized like this, they'll charge you an extra like 50 bucks. If you want to get it whole tapped, they'll charge you an extra 40 bucks. That's for a one-off part, by the way. But with eMachine Shop, they have super affordable rates for both of those. It's like 16 bucks to anodize a part if it's only one. It's only a few bucks for tapping holes. It's really awesome. And if you are looking to get something professionally machined that looks something like this as just a one-off, definitely check them out. They will have the cheapest prices. Sorry for the long rant. Let's get into the parts. So this is the Z-axis. Now you'll notice with these parts, especially with this guy, since it's the biggest, is that this is a different texture than what you saw on my Eclips3D2. And that's because I went with a bead blast before the anodizing. And that gives it this kind of, it's like this almost a matte textured, and then it's anodized. It looks really nice. But yeah, I really do like this. Let's see if I can get a good angle. My camera don't want to focus. But regardless, it looks really nice, and it gets rid of all those, I had some random tooling marks on my parts just because there was no post-processing before it was anodized, but this gets rid of all that issue. So, Z-axis, only new thing is this is now a tapped hole here so that you can screw in a bolt for triggering the Z end stop. Other than that is unchanged. A nice beefy part for the Z-axis. Y-axis, I originally messed this up when I sent it to PartsBadger. And unfortunately, I caught the mistake too late and they already made it, so I had to have new ones made. So as you can see with those two holes right here, little big. Originally, I had one of these flipped because I was thinking, well, you know, Core XY, we got one idler on top, one idler on top here, and the bottom over there, and you know. So I was thinking, oh, they should be flipped, but no, they should be the same because there is the same idler on this side, whether it's on top or bottom. So yeah, anyway. PartsBadger, they really helped me out with that. It was super smooth getting it set up, and they only charged me cost for the new parts to be remade. So thank you again to PartsBadger. It's just great experience so far working with them. That's that. To the base plate, you'll notice there's a ton more cutouts here. There's some cutouts here for the power input box shroud thing that's going to be going there, and the wires going through. We've got mounting holes for the power supply, mounting holes for the controller. This stuff's old. We got mounting for the Z-axis end stop, and we have a hole in the front here for the LCD wiring. Now the only thing that's missing is a hole here for the LEDs and the end stop on this side of the printer. So I'm gonna have to just drill those by hand for these printers going out. But it's a pretty small hole. It's probably less than 5 millimeters would be okay. Actually, definitely less than 5 will be okay. So it's really not gonna be a big deal at all. Now onto the final part. Now there was one small issue with this part, unfortunately, but PartsBadger did get it worked out with me, so in the future it will be fine, and I will be doing something to fix it. But basically, if you look at this part, this is the top, and you'll notice that there are more holes than there should be on the top. All these holes should be on the bottom, however they accidentally drilled a bunch of these through when they weren't supposed to be. So basically, these holes, these four in the square right here, those are supposed to be through, those are for the motor. Same on this side, and then the four corners are supposed to be through holes, but unfortunately that's all. So the rest of these, all those, they're not supposed to be through holes. So whatever, it sucks, but it's really not worth remaking the entire part just for some slight aesthetics. So basically what I'm going to end up doing is on all of these holes at least, I'm going to be getting some black oxidized bolts, the exact length from the underside so that the bottom of the bolt lines up perfectly. And because of the linear rail, it has exactly like a 6 millimeter height. That means 10 millimeter bolts will line up perfectly. So all those will be all set. Same with these guys, with these M5s. Basically, same thing with 10 millimeters plus the 6 of this plate. So that'll give me a 16 millimeter bolt, and then it'll be flush. And I did test it. It works nicely. Now for the rest of them, they're like 30 millimeter bolts in weird sizes, so I can't exactly do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a super short black button head, and I'm just going to bolt that from the top. So it basically just acts as like an aesthetic bolt. So it really isn't doing anything other than covering up that hole. But honestly, it really doesn't look that bad, even with all these holes in there. The main reason I just want to get those covered was because a lot of the bolts are silver, so that would make it a lot more obvious if you see a silver bolt sticking through here. But with black oxidized bolts, it should be pretty much okay. So yeah, that is this part. Not many changes to it since the original revision. A few moving around, like the mounting of these linear rails, a few millimeters up this way, I believe, and some rearranging the end stop mounts and stuff like that, but nothing major. And then there are some smaller parts which are packaged up in here. Basically, we just got the the extruder carriage, the belt block, a mounting plate for the hot end, and then belt clamps. And this is the thing for the hot end to bolt to it. So yeah, sorry for the rant, sorry for the pretty long video, but again, I had to do this in one take, and I'm not used to this, it's weird. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed. In case you had any questions about the Eclips3D2, because I know you guys do, it is probably going to be going on sale towards the end of the year, or in the very beginning of January, like the first week of January. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be shipping all this stuff out, hopefully by Tuesday or Wednesday. And then after that, I just got to wait for some feedback from my beta guys before I can go ahead and open up orders and then get everything rolling. So that's pretty much it. Actually, now that I think about it, I can probably get orders open beginning of December, but we shall see. No promises. I'm ranting now. I don't know what to say. Eclips3D original sale will be happening soon for the holidays. Stay tuned. Eclips3D2, awesome stuff. Thanks for watching if you're still watching. Bye.